Hey YouTube, what's going on? Patrick here at VectorVest, and today I wanted to bring a quick update on the EXRO saga and talk about the response that EXRO gave to the smear campaign that we mentioned a couple of days ago. If you want to see that video and see my thoughts on the Mariner report, click on the link in the description below. And before we get into it, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below and smash that like button as much as you can. So with that, let's jump right into it. All right, so behind me, I've got the report up. If you want the link, you can click on the link in the description below. And I just wanted to talk about some of my thoughts with this, what we see, what we don't see, and at the very end, I'll give you my exact opinions on it. But I just want to highlight a couple of points from the response first, and then we'll finish off with some of my thoughts. All right, so getting into it, nothing really surprising coming out of their response. Everything seems to be pretty professional, pretty straightforward, so I like seeing that. Shows a lot of confidence in the company and a lot of confidence to the individual investor that are buying EXRO and buying into the technology because we believe in it. As a side note, from this report, if you haven't followed along with this, the CEO, Sue, and the head of the chairman, Mark Goodsey, have been buying into some of the stocks. More of a symbolic buy, more so than anything else in my opinion, but I like seeing that, and it definitely shows a lot of belief behind the company and what they're doing there at EXRO Technologies. So with that, there's a few key things that they highlight in this response, and they focus on 4 areas: their business strategy, their partnerships, their leadership, and the technology. If we take a look at what they have to say on the business strategy side of things, essentially all we really see here is just talking about how the company is continuing to grow. Their new factory that they just put in, I believe it says here, opened a new 10,000 square foot facility in Calgary, Alberta. If a company was just a pump and dump scheme, I think this really drives home the point that they are growing. And if it was a pump and dump, they wouldn't be putting this money into these places and these new facilities to try to grow their business. So seems pretty straightforward. I like what Sue's got to say with that. If we take a look at the partnerships, this is where it really gets interesting, and I like the way they worded this, and I like the way they put it. Essentially what they were talking about is their partnerships and how the Mariner report misses a lot of their big key partnerships that they've started to get, and just focused on some of their smaller partnerships. As I stated in my original thoughts, this just kind of confirms that, but yeah, you can't cherry pick partnerships and just highlight some of the smaller ones, and that really doesn't give the whole view of EXRO and especially their potential going into the future. So I like the fact that they addressed this and they talked about it, and they also even put comments from these other partnerships, the owners or CEOs of these other partnerships, in this report as well. I like seeing that, just showing more confidence in the company and really taking away from the point that Mariner was trying to drive home, of that these partnerships have no real value and they're not really getting anything out of it. And this just kind of shows that they were wrong, and there are real partnerships, and these partnerships are really helping to legitimize the company, legitimize the technology, and help fine-tune the technology as well. If we scroll down a little bit more, we get into the leadership. I'm not really going to dive too much into the leadership because I talked about it in that last video. Once again, the link is in the description below. But essentially with the leadership, it was a smear campaign against them and a lot of innuendos where they were trying to say, this person was bad because of the people he was surrounded with prior to EXRO, and so therefore he's going to be bad now. You can't do that. If you're going to try to smear somebody, you have to have legitimate reasons and you have to have legitimate proof before you make those kind of claims and before you make those kind of attacks. That's why it just kind of drives home the point that, yeah, it was a smear campaign to try to delegitimize these people and try to remove confidence in the company by the retail investor. And then finally, they talk about the technology, which I am a firm believer in the technology. As I've stated in previous videos, I like EXRO. I hold EXRO as a retail investor myself. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you to go buy EXRO. You got to do what you got to do for yourself and ask yourself if this is a good trade or a good opportunity for you. But personally, as a father of 2, and my oldest one being 4, my youngest one being 7 months, I want to see this kind of technology. I believe in this kind of technology because I want to make the world a better place. I want to see the world become a better place, less dependent on fossil fuels and more green energy, if you will. And that's going to help save the planet and make the world a better place for the future and for my kids alone and for people that I know that have kids as well. So I believe in the technology, and the fact that they addressed this and talked about how good the technology is, this just drives it home. I like the stock. I like the technology. And this just kind of shows that. So once again, if you want to see the report on your own, you can click in the link in the description below to get that report and read the whole report yourself. And with that, I'll leave you off with my final thoughts. I liked what we saw here. Sue did a phenomenal job addressing all the major areas of concern. And it really just drove home all the points that we talked about in our last video. So one of the things though that I was slightly disappointed in, not really, but just slightly, is that there wasn't any major announcements, with EXRO and their partnerships and how they've had a lot of partnerships coming out over the last couple of years. I was really hoping to see news or some sort of hint at a new partnership possibly coming out, and there wasn't in this report. That is a little bit greedy for me as a retailer because, yeah, that report or that kind of announcement would definitely see a huge push in their stock price. And I was hoping for a little bit of juice out of in there to kind of drive home how good the stock is and what they're really doing. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but hey, I still love the stock. I still love the technology, and I'm looking forward to the future with this one. If you guys have other thoughts, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Also on this topic, EXRO is down a little bit today after it got halted yesterday. That's okay. If you look at the major indices, they're down significantly at the time of recording, and EXRO is down just slightly, telling us that, it's not getting beaten up nearly as bad as the other stocks out there. I like that. That's a strong sign for the company, and I can't wait to see what EXRO has coming out in the future. So going forward with EXRO, until there's more news coming out, we'll just let it stay as it is right now. But rest assured, if there is new stories coming out or new headlines coming out about this or more developments in this saga, I will be 100% here for you guys to make sure we keep you up to date. So keep an eye on our YouTube page for more content to come. Until then, adios, take care, see y'all in the next one.